Power Panel is back. Supriya Dwivedi, Lisa Raitt, Nathan Cullen, and Catherine Cullen. Catherine, I want to get to the Jamil Jivani stuff, but I'd like to start with Mark Wiseman, who was in the Oval Office, or was at the White House at least today, meeting with Trump to take on the official role. He's not a traditional, he's not sort of the glad-handing, shake hands and kiss babies ambassador. He's a deal maker. What does his appointment tell us about where we're at in this process?
Yeah, I mean, he's a private sector guy, and then you have the news over the weekend of Janice Charette coming in to be leading the CUSMA negotiations. And so I think there's an effort to maybe create a little bit of balance here. Somebody who knows the public sector really well, somebody with experience making deals in the private sector. Also, like, let's think about what this iteration of the Trump administration looks like, even the previous one, right? Art of the deal. You can kind of understand the logic of that. I think the question I am left with is, on the one hand, Kirsten Hillman, very well regarded across the political spectrum, but still there are fresh faces coming in. Is that a chance for a bit of a fresh start? Is there room for optimism here? One would hope, but I would say, looking at everything that has happened over the course of even just the last few weeks, these continual threats almost weekly from Donald Trump, against sort of whatever it seems like he's grabbing out of the sky at Canada, I think that makes it a little bit harder to be optimistic about this moment and Canada's ability to really, get any benefit or bounce out of this fresh start.
Lisa, Catherine raised the interesting point that these two jobs of chief negotiator and ambassador were both previously held by Ambassador Hillman. They've split them up here. Does it free each of them up to do what they're good at? That Charette is a good sort of bureaucratic negotiator. Wiseman's a bond guy and a deal maker. Does it sort of free them in a way, or what is your take on that?
Well, prior to Ambassador Hillman having both, Gary Dewar was the ambassador and Kirsten Hillman was the U.S. Trade Representative. That, to me, we're going back to the way it should be, quite frankly. And the way I look at it is Mark Carney and his government is putting in place in Janice Charette somebody who is a known quantity to the officials and the bureaucrats within the United States administration writ large. They know exactly who she is. They know they've worked with her in the past, cross-border. She probably has lots of connectivity down there still, and I would imagine a lot of credibility as well. So whereas Mr. Wiseman isn't as well known, we're not grinding the conversations to a halt as they try to figure out who the new players are on the scene. I really like the appointment of Janice Charette. I just can't believe she's coming back like the fourth or fifth time to help out her country again. But good for her, and the private sector will wait for her when she's ready to come back.
Supriya, what is how will they have communicated with each other, Wiseman and Charette, in terms of here's what the job is, here's what your relationships are going to look like, here's what mine are going to look like. They approach it from very different but very complementary places, I think.
Are you asking me if they're playing a zone or a man-to-man, Peter? Is that what?
Can you break down the defense strategy here?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Lisa's point is, and Catherine's too, is the right one, right? It looks like they have different skill sets, they have different experiences, both at the top of their respective games. And I think it's to be incredibly complementary. I'd imagine that Ms. Charette still has quite a few contacts, in the U.S. as well as Lisa pointed out, on the civil service side to get things moving along. And you need that. You can't just have a deal maker that comes in from the private sector without knowing the ins and outs and the ropes of the civil service side of things. So you absolutely need that in terms of the machinations. And then just in terms of they're having their work cut out for them. I mean, this is an incredibly, unpredictable sort of time. And I'm not saying anything that's particularly insightful here, but the problem with the president and getting to a deal is even if we get to one, okay, then what? Can he just blow it up then, within a few weeks or a month because he didn't like the way our prime minister, answered a question at a presser, or something else pissed him off and he's threatening that China's going to take away the Stanley Cup or something. I think that these are real considerations. And if you look to the future a little bit, given the fact that the Trump administration has already told us they want to do away with the Online Streaming Act, which requires American companies like Netflix and, Spotify, Disney Plus to fund or promote Canadian content, we have to question what will happen when the government tables any new framework that deals with the giant big tech American oligarchs that have Trump's ear. I'm thinking specifically of online harms or any guardrails to our safety to AI going forward. So we're going to have to be prepared for that and figuring what we're willing to let go of and what we're willing to fight for.
Well, I mean, this incident with the Gordie Howe Bridge is a very good reminder of the people in Trump and his entourage's ear can influence at least his stance on policy, if not his policy himself. Though, Nathan, I do wonder if there is some cause for optimism about the timing here. We have two new players going in, as Catherine says, to forge new relationships at a time when Congress is pushing back on not just tariffs, but specifically the Canadian tariffs, when the USTR is basically confirming, the Financial Times reporting of last week, that they're looking at rolling back some of the steel and aluminum tariffs. Is new blood at this moment in this relationship an upside?
Perhaps, but I think it's all that context that you talk about. I mean, the people are of excellent quality and well situated. Mr. Carney chose well. I don't know if you put Gandhi and Mother Teresa in there, it would really help much because of the unpredictability of who we're dealing with, as has been said. I think the midterm congressional votes are going to matter a lot more. I think Congress passing a vote against Mr. Trump's wishes with some Republican support against his tariffs. His unreliability, his unpredictability is supposed to be his great achievement or his great skill. I think it's shamelessness that's actually his strongest power, for whatever that means. But the quality of the people, sure, but we're still fixated on keeping this deal together. But it's a deal with a partner who doesn't respect deals, even ones he negotiated. So I get why Canadians are saying, can we get to the July deadline? Are these the right people to get us there? I think all that effort is fine. But what does it end up meaning for our industries and our workers in this country? I don't know, because we have somebody who is just unhinged when it comes to respecting and honoring legal agreements in his private and public life as president. So good luck, but I think it's what's going to happen in Congress. It's what happens in the bond markets and the stock market that affect this president's actions, not so much whether we negotiate hard and get a good deal and that he's going to suddenly start to honor a deal that he signed. We've just been burned so many times, and it's so ridiculous, the bridge, et cetera, as to who is going to be able to competently negotiate with somebody who at the top of the food chain is not competent or respectful or has any grace with respect to legal agreements.
And the fact is, the Trump administration has a very different stance, view, understanding, I don't know what the word is, for what the review process in July is going to look like. Like, there are people out there saying the Americans are just going to walk away. Yeah. There's not a mechanism for that. They could try to find one, but
Are you suggesting Donald Trump might do something unprecedented, Peter?
Well, I'm also suggesting he might be talking about doing something unprecedented that he never follows through on, because that happens even more.
It's a taco. Yeah.
Well, the taco is sort of the trade of the day.